This is Mark and Michelle, episode 11.
Woo, 11. That's
Yeah.
a 1 and a 1.
11 weeks. Not completely consecutive.
No, because we were sick.
We were, and we went on vacation. But
that was fun.
That was fun. We're going to talk a little bit more about that today. We were going to talk about two things today in our Facebook Live. One is coaching and how it can help you, what we do when we coach, and that kind of thing. We'll give examples. And then we were going to talk about
Connections.
New connections I was able to make this week. And last week when her and I were on vacation. But anyway, we'll get started with coaching and basically what coaching is. And I think this is succinctly and concisely explains it.
Yes, because we discussed it.
Okay, all right. Well, that makes all the difference. Basically, as coaches, we meet you where you are and help you get to where you want to go.
Yeah.
So, in other words, whatever your goals are, we help you work with where you're starting and get you there. Now, how we coach. Really,
we instruct.
Okay. We answer.
We advise.
Yes. We support. Now, that's pretty straightforward. Maybe too straightforward. Services we offer.
Teaching advice.
Cooking instruction and recipe alteration.
Diet and meal planning.
Mm-hmm. Personal coaching. Now, we give examples of these here next, actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
That.
First example. We helped a mother start her resistant son on the GAPS diet by helping her disguise the broth in pureed veggies because he wouldn't eat anything but goldfish crackers. And so she tried that and it worked like a charm. And so he's in the process of healing now. This was when she very first started the diet, her son on the diet. The next example, you want to give it or you want me to do it?
We advised another mom on reducing her son's histamine issues while on the GAPS. And how was that?
Well, she had she mentioned that he was getting mild rashes on his neck and one side of his face. And so we suggested the medical medium diet because that will take care of the histamine issues, which we realized is detox.
Detox that wasn't really getting help being eliminated, though.
Well, that's true. GAPS takes a while to actually detox, and it does do some of that, but you would probably need to do other detox in conjunction with it. But she was able to get it under control. Let's see. We helped jumpstart healing for a whole family using the GAPS diet. We went to their house and basically instructed them on all the cooking that they needed and any questions that they had. We actually made broth. We did. And that
was fun.
And we showed them about the probiotics and how to chop garlic and how to add it to your broth and that kind of thing. So we do that kind of thing as well, at least if we're if it's someone local, but we could also do it online too.
Sure.
Let's see.
We coached a mom on bettering her communication with her two autistic sons, as well as instructing her on their autistic learning styles, because they were my students and I knew them.
Well, and so while Michelle was teaching her sons, I would sit out here and answer questions for her, help her.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Lori?
Yeah, we hope we're saying that right. But
cool.
Hi to you. Here, we'll hit like real quick. So I would sit and help the mom understand better communication with her sons. And we also helped her better understand how they learn through their autism. And let's see. Oh, now, right now, I personally coach a 24-year-old Aspie. And he's been looking for a job. So what I do is we meet once a week, and I coach him on how to answer job interview questions and how to fill out applications. And basically the whole process of getting a job and how to work with people and understand the questions that he's being asked and how to answer them. Then we have one last example here.
We supported a mother through a stressful situation with her recovering son. So it's just like, you're doing great, because you all are.
Yes, and a lot of times that's all people need is
Yep.
just someone to come along and say, you know what, look, you're doing the best that you can right now. Just keep going with that, and realize that mistakes are going to happen, but they can always be repaired.
Yep.
Always be fixed.
It's always fixable.
Mm-hmm. Now, for more information,
Oh, sorry.
it wasn't on the back. That's all right. For more information about our coaching, we actually have coaching packages that we offer. Visit our website, which is www.healyourautism.com, and go to our coaching page for more details. There are prices, there's explanations of each one of the packages, that kind of thing. You can also contact us from that page by email or send us a message, either way, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. But that does it really as far as the coaching goes.
We had some cool things happen this week.
We did.
We'd like to report.
Right?
We were just still living in the aftermath of the trip,
Mm-hmm.
and realizing how much I got to share with Mark. This is the first time that he shared emotional, what would you call that? Emotional experiences?
Yeah, we'll say which experiences emotionally together in common, you
Yeah.
might say. Well, and see, in our last week's Facebook Live, we talked more about the trip and that kind of thing, and how I experienced it now as an NT instead of as an ASPE. But as an ASPE, if you didn't catch that last Facebook Live, trips for me were more of her pointing out things.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that.
Look at that. Look at this. While my face was buried in a book, and so that was just how things were, you know. And we didn't really share experiences. I mean, we went around and we did stuff like we'd go to Charleston, South Carolina, or Pensacola.
He was always interested in historical things, so places like that were perfect.
Yeah. So but
we didn't share in feeling like the atmosphere of a place or the city or a building, the atmosphere of the people. So that was really new.
Mm-hmm. Well, a couple of good examples I should say, we stayed at a place called the Ochre Inn, which we mentioned that in last week's Facebook Live too. But after, I'd say, our first night there, we got back to the inn, and we sat out in the front porch, and there was a couple a rocking chair and another chair out there, and I was smoking my pipe. Michelle was eating an orange or some watermelon or something. And we were sitting there watching people walk by. Not that it was a really busy street, but sometimes people walk by, and you'd see Canal Street out in front of us, and I think it was Carrollton Place was just a half a block, couple houses down, and it was really muggy. It was about 11:30, yeah.
In the morning or at night?
At night.
Okay, yeah, this was the night one.
At night. And
we sat there a lot.
We did, and it was really nice just to sit there. It wasn't super muggy, but people walked by, you'd say hi, they'd say hi back. I mean, not that people were over friendly, but it was just how it was. And it was really nice to sit there and enjoy that with her, because sharing a common experience helps you build memories of your own relationship.
It's almost like burning neurons together.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. It's
and then you have a shared experience that bonds you more.
Yeah, it's sharing an emotional drug, you might say.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it bonds you better together. And so we sat there that night, and then I think it was the next day, we had gone and done something, then come back, and we went to the Garden District and drove through that. And then we went to Metairie, and then we drove back from Metairie to where we were staying, and we sat out on the porch for a little bit, for another 30, 40 minutes during the day. And it was hot and muggy and that kind of stuff, but it was fun to sit there and watch things go by and watch things happen and this type of stuff.
He would have never done that before. He would have been in a book.
Yeah.
Collecting information.
Exactly.
Now he's collecting emotional stimulus.
Emotional experience.
It's
a shared emotional experience, like you said a little bit ago. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So, and
see, he's making that connection right now.
Yep. See,
You saw it happen.
Right. Well, and that's what's cool now is because I share things with her instead of
just being
next
there.
to or,
Yeah.
or you know, separate but apart, or however you want to call it.
Separate but together.
Okay. Well, right. And,
togetherly separate.
Well, exactly. So we connected a good bit. We could even, even more importantly than that, we shared the experience without really saying much. We could just look at each other and know how the other was feeling about the experience, which I thought was cool, because it's only in the past couple years, 2 or 3 years, that my autism receded so far into the background that I could actually just read what she was saying by looking at me. And that saves a lot of words. It really does. So healing your own kids, believe me, communication will be easier. Sharing experiences will be a thing. And that's what we're all looking forward to anyway, is to have better relationships with our loved ones. So
high five that.
Yeah, absolutely. And
should we high five them?
Oh, and virtual high five. But that was really enjoyable about the trip. But we had another interesting connection this week.
A surprise.
Exactly.
Those are always fun.
I live in Oklahoma City. I have family that lives here.
I live here too.
Yeah, she does. She doesn't live in another city close by or anything. But my sister and her husband, they live about 20 miles away, 15 miles, something like that. And
we never see them.
Yeah, we hardly ever see them.
Not because we don't want to.
Not because they don't want to, but
hi to Grenda.
But anyway, so Michelle and I go to a writer's group because we're writing our book on my recovery from autism and her recovery from all of her health issues. And so the writer's group that we go to is at a Barnes & Noble a few miles from us. And my sister and her husband don't really live that close to this Barnes & Noble. But after we got done with the writer's group, Michelle happened to be out in the store. She comes back, she says, "I think your sister is here."
Yeah.
So Michelle goes off, and I come out, and sure enough, my sister was standing up at the cashier checking out. She didn't even notice me, so I stood right up there next to her. I stood there for, it was probably about 7 or 8 minutes. And then she turns around and goes, "Oh, what are you doing here?" So we talked for a few minutes, and we went to find Michelle. And we told Christy, my sister Christy, about our trip to Pensacola and this kind of stuff. Well, Christy was remembering that when we lived in North Carolina in Charlotte,
he and his
back in the 80s,
yeah,
my sister and I, my family, we would go to the beaches on the North Carolina coast. And she was talking about that, and I was remembering that. And for the first time, I distinctly felt that I could have a connection with my sister, which beforehand, that didn't exist.
And what he said to me was, she felt alive.
Yeah, I did say that.
Isn't that weird?
Because that's the first time I'd ever felt that.
First time she felt alive to him.
Mm-hmm. Because as an Aspie, most people were just kind of walking reactionary zombies to me. And but now, most people in their way feel alive. But
you need to write that down. Reactionary zombies. What did you say? We'll have to watch the show again.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, it's recorded.
That was a really great one.
Good. It's written down.
It's
right.
Court.
But anyway, so after talking with Christy and that kind of stuff, she had to leave. I was thinking about inviting her to lunch, but she had to go pick up the kids. And but I really thought, I could really have a relationship with her because she has always been an intellectual person like me and Michelle, but she doesn't get much of a chance to engage in that in that stuff. And so anyway, but I thought that was a really neat experience because I've never had that before with her. And she's just a couple years younger than me. But anyway, well, anything else you wanted to talk about?
I don't think so.
No? Well, that is the end of our Facebook Live today, guys. Thanks for showing up, Alori and Grenda. And for everybody else who watches this.
Let us know where you're from.
Yep.
Okay.
We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.